In the heart of Fairhaven, a city pulsing with ambition and disparity, Crestview Medical Center stood as a towering symbol of modern healthcare, its glass facade gleaming under the morning sun while concealing a darker underbelly. Dr. Sarah Coleman, a 34-year-old nurse with a decade of tireless service, was publicly dismissed in front of a stunned crowd for saving the life of an injured, unidentified patient. Her act of compassion, defying rigid hospital protocols, cost her not only her career, but also exposed her to the looming threat of a lawsuit. Yet that same selflessness ignited a fierce battle against a deeply entrenched web of corruption within Crestview's leadership. At an extravagant gala, Sarah, alongside the man she saved, unveiled secrets that would shatter the hospital's polished reputation and spark a movement for change. From that moment, her life, and the lives of countless others, would be forever transformed. Before we dive into this story, let us know where you're joining us from. Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what resonates with you. The morning rush at Crestview Medical Center was a relentless symphony of chaos. Shrill phones competed with the hurried footsteps of nurses, weaving through crowded hallways, their scrubs a blur of blue and green. The sharp tang of antiseptic mingled with the faint, metallic scent of medical equipment, creating a sensory haze that clung to the air. Sarah Coleman, her dark hair pulled into a tight bun, gripped her patient charts like a lifeline as she navigated the bustling lobby. Her sneakers clicked faintly against the polished marble tiles, each step echoing her resolve after a grueling 14-hour shift. Raised in a working-class Fairhaven neighborhood, Sarah had grown up watching her father, a mechanic, fix broken engines with care, and her mother, a schoolteacher, instill a fierce belief in doing right, no matter the cost. Those lessons had carried her through nursing, school, and countless sleepless nights in the ER, where she'd held patients' hands through their final moments. Now exhaustion tugged at her, but her hazel eyes remained piercing, her mind sharp. She was halfway to the reception desk, mentally reviewing a patient's chart, when a voice sliced through the din like a judge's gavel. Dr. Coleman stepped forward. The commanding tone belonged to Director Victor Hensley, a man whose ambition cast a shadow as large as Crestview itself. The lobby fell silent, the air thick with tension. Conversations halted, and the rhythmic clatter of keyboards and rustling papers stopped abruptly. Patients in plastic chairs, staff in scrubs, and even a delivery worker with a cart of medical supplies froze. Their gazes locking onto Sarah, she turned slowly, her expression carefully neutral despite the sudden thud of her heart. Her years in the ER had taught her to stay composed under pressure, but this felt personal, like a trap snapping shut. She approached the reception desk, where Hensley stood like a general, flanked by two security officers in crisp uniforms. His face was flushed, his tie knotted too tightly against his broad neck, giving him the look of a man barely containing his fury. With a theatrical flourish, he slapped a document onto the counter, the sound echoing in the hushed space. "You're terminated," he declared, his voice booming to ensure every ear within 50 feet caught his words. "You violated protocol, squandering resources on an unidentified, uninsured drifter. Leave your badge and coat here, now." A low murmur rippled through the crowd. A father, clutching his toddler's hand, stepped back, his eyes wide with unease. Two young interns, Dr. Priya Patel and Dr. Jamal Carter, exchanged wary glances, but stayed silent, their faces tight with conflict. Claudia, the head receptionist with a penchant for sharp suits and sharper smirks, leaned against the counter, her manicured nails tapping a smug rhythm. Sarah's throat tightened, a mix of shock and indignation rising like bile. But she refused to let it show. She unclipped her badge with deliberate movements, placing it beside the document with a soft click. The weight of dozens of eyes pressed against her, some curious, some judgmental, some pitying. She could feel the unspoken questions. What did she do? How could she be so reckless? Sarah straightened, her voice steady despite the fire kindling in her chest. "Last night, I saved a man's life," she said, her words clear and deliberate, carrying across the lobby. He collapsed in the ER, bleeding out, no ID, no insurance, no time to waste. I made a choice and I stand by it. Her gaze locked onto Hensley's, unflinching. The director leaned closer, his breath sour with stale coffee and rage. "People like you," he hissed, low enough that only she could hear, "and need to learn your place in this institution." The words stung, a reminder of the hospital's unspoken hierarchy, where profit trumped principle. Sarah's fingers curled into fists, a surge of fury threatening to break her calm. She wanted to shout, to expose the hypocrisy she'd witnessed. Patients turned away, budgets padded with questionable funds, but she took a deep breath, the air cool against her heated skin. She wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing her crack. "My place," she said quietly, her voice cutting through the tension, "is saving lives, not treating patients like commodities to be priced and discarded." Hensley's face darkened, and he slammed his palm down again, the sound sharper, more final. "Get out before I have security drag you out." Security guard Michael Torres, a kind-eyed man in his 40s who greeted Sarah every morning with a nod and a story about his teenage daughter, shifted uncomfortably. His hand hovered near her elbow, hesitant, his eyes meeting hers with silent regret. Sarah gave him a small nod, her lips pressed into a thin line. "It's fine, Michael. I'm going." She gathered her dignity like a cloak, shoulders squared, and headed for the exit. The lobby's automatic doors, once a welcoming gateway to her purpose, now loomed like a distant finish line. Each step felt heavier, as if 10 years of service, countless nights, missed holidays, lives saved, dragged at her heels. As she pushed through the revolving doors, a gust of cold morning air hit her face, sharp and unforgiving. Her chest ached, not from the chill, but from the hollow burn of injustice. She paused on the sidewalk, the city's pulse humming around her, honking cars, distant sirens, the chatter of pedestrians rushing to work. The reality sank in like a stone, a decade of dedication, erased in minutes because she'd chosen compassion over bureaucracy. Across the street, the usual spot where Rosie, a homeless woman with a weathered smile and a cardboard sign, stood, was empty, an odd absence that tugged at Sarah's instincts. Rosie had been a fixture outside Crestview, often sharing a warm word or a joke with Sarah on her way in. In her place stood a man in a sharp navy suit, his posture rigid as he spoke urgently into a cell phone. He glanced at Sarah briefly, his expression unreadable behind dark sunglasses, then turned away, blending into the morning crowd. Sarah wrapped her arms around herself, the hospital's shadow clinging to her like damp smoke. Nearby, a street vendor's coffee cart sent up plumes of steam, the scent mingling with the city's grit. Sarah's friend and fellow nurse, Maria Delgado, who'd worked the night shift with her, caught up to her on the sidewalk. "Sarah, what just happened?" Maria asked, her voice trembling with disbelief. "They can't do this to you." Sarah shook her head, her voice low. "They did, but I'm not done yet." Maria's eyes, usually bright with humor, glistened with unshed tears. "You saved that man. We all saw it. This is wrong." Sarah squeezed her friend's arm, a silent promise to fight on, and walked away. The hospital's shadow lingering. She didn't know it yet, but her story was only beginning. Some debts the universe collects in its own time. Sarah sat at her small kitchen table in her modest Fairhaven apartment, the wood worn smooth from years of late night, meals and patient notes scribbled in haste. An untouched mug of chamomile tea sat before her, steam long gone, the surface reflecting the dim glow of a single bulb overhead. Her home, once a sanctuary filled with soft jazz and the scent of lavender candles, now felt hollow, its walls echoing her defeat. She was single, her life poured into her work. Her social circle small but tight, Maria, a few colleagues, her father, who still lived in the old neighborhood. Those roots had driven her through nursing school, through sleepless shifts, through moments when she'd held a patient's hand as they took their final breath. Now she replayed Hensley's words, each syllable a fresh wound. She'd thought saving a life would bring peace, a quiet certainty of doing right. Instead, it left her jobless, humiliated, and staring into an uncertain future. Her phone buzzed, jolting her from her thoughts. Unknown number. She let it ring out, her fingers tracing the mug's rim. It buzzed again, then again. 3 missed calls, all from the same number. On the 4th, her ER-honed instinct urged her to answer. She picked up slowly. "Dr. Coleman?" The voice was smooth, urgent. "This is James Harper, attorney with Harper & Co. I'm calling on behalf of William Grayson." Sarah's brow furrowed, her free hand rubbing her temple. The name sparked recognition. William Grayson, a billionaire healthcare magnate whose name graced hospital wings and headlines. "If this is about a lawsuit," she said, her voice cautious but firm, "I did my job. I saved a life." Harper's tone was calm, almost warm. "Far from it, Dr. Coleman. Mr. Grayson believes you saved more than his life. He'd like to meet you now if you're free." Sarah stared at the phone, the name echoing in her mind. Her hand trembled as she replied, "Are you sure you've got the right person?" A faint chuckle came through. "He's certain, Dr. Coleman. He asked for you by name." Doubt gnawed at her. Could this be a cruel prank? But curiosity won out. She agreed to meet at a downtown cafe in an hour. She changed into a sweater and jeans, her fingers brushing the hospital badge in her pocket, a tether to her past life. The cafe was a hive of activity, its glass walls reflecting Fairhaven's pulse. Executives in tailored suits sipped espressos, their phones glowing with stock tickers. Sarah stood at the entrance, hyper-aware of the shadows under her eyes, the weight of exhaustion pulling at her shoulders. A man waved from a corner table. James Harper rose to greet her, tall and impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit. His handshake firm but approachable. His dark eyes held quiet intensity, softened by a reassuring smile. With him was Lila Chen, a junior attorney with sharp features and a warm demeanor, who nodded politely. "I know this is overwhelming," Harper said, sliding a tablet toward her. "But this will explain." Sarah leaned forward, her breath catching. The screen showed a face she'd never forget, now cleaned up, in a tailored suit, but unmistakably the man she'd saved. Bloodied and gasping from the ER floor. "William Grayson." Harper lowered his voice. "Mr. Grayson hikes alone in the mountains, no security, no phone. Yesterday he took a bad fall, a deep gash from a rock. He stumbled for miles, delirious until he reached Crestview. He was unrecognizable, no ID, no wallet, covered in dirt. He was dying, Sarah, and you acted without hesitation." Sarah sat back, her mind reeling. She wanted to laugh at the absurdity, a billionaire mistaken for a vagrant. She wanted to cry for the injustice. Mostly she felt exhausted. "I didn't know who he was," she said quietly. "I just saw someone in need." Harper nodded, respect in his eyes. "That's why he wants to help you. But Hensley didn't just humiliate you, he endangered Grayson's life and exposed a deeper rot." Sarah gripped the table's edge, the wood cool under her palms. "What are you saying?" Lila leaned in, her voice steady. "Mr. Grayson wants justice for himself, for you, for every patient turned away because they didn't fit. Crestview's profit-driven mold." Sarah sat silent, watching the cafe's rhythm, the clink of cups, the murmur of deals. She thought of patients dismissed as unprofitable, their faces haunting her. Her grip tightened on her mug. "If we do this," she said, "we do it right. No shortcuts, no deals. We expose everything." Harper's smile was approving. That's what Grayson expected. The next morning, Sarah sat in a sleek conference room on the 40th floor of Grayson Enterprises, the city sprawling below. Framed photos of clinics and community centers lined the walls, each bearing Grayson's logo, a testament to the man she'd saved. Harper entered with Lila, carrying a thick dossier and a tablet, their expressions grim. "This is bigger than you think," Harper said, setting the files before her. "We started digging into Crestview after Grayson's incident. We have records, years of them." Sarah's pulse quickened, adrenaline from her ER days resurfacing. "Show me," she said. Harper opened the dossier, revealing a chart that twisted Sarah's stomach. "Patient admissions by race and insurance status," he explained. "Over 5 years, over 70% of uninsured minority patients were delayed or denied care, while most uninsured white patients were admitted." Sarah's throat was dry. "I knew it was wrong, but not this wrong." Lila slid another document over. Hospital funds funneled to local officials through shell charities. Timed with budget approvals, Sarah stared at the names and dates, the truth forming a sickening mosaic. "And Hensley?" she asked. Harper played a video, grainy footage of Hensley at Crestview's desk, speaking to Claudia. "Keep sending them away," he said. "No premium insurance, no bed, you know the type." Claudia's laugh was playful. "Easy, boss. Your bonus is safe." Harper paused the video. "We have enough to bury him," he said. Sarah's jaw clenched, memories flooding back, patients she'd fought for, overruled by protocol. Beneath her anger, resolve ignited. "What's next?" she asked, her voice steady. Harper studied her with respect. "We expose it all carefully. Hensley's connected, but we'll make this airtight." Sarah nodded. "No leaks, no compromises." Harper smiled. "Grayson's giving you full resources." Sarah shook her head. "I want reform, not money." Lila's eyes lit up. "That's why this will work." The Crestview annual gala glittered at the Grand Regency ballroom, chandeliers casting light over linen-draped tables. Politicians, donors, and executives toasted another successful year. Victor Hensley basked in the glow, his tuxedo straining as he grinned. Sarah watched from a shadowed corner. In a simple grey dress, her pulse steady but thrumming. Harper, Lila, and their team were stationed around the room, earpieces buzzing. Hensley clinked glasses with the senator, his laugh booming. Sarah saw his arrogance, his belief he was untouchable. Harper approached, whispering, "Files are loaded. We go live during the auction." Sarah nodded. "Security?" "Handled," Lila said. Grayson's team briefed the hotel's chief. The lights dimmed as Hensley took the stage. "Thank you for celebrating Crestview's triumphs," he began, his voice dripping with false modesty. He gestured to the screen. "Enjoy a video showcasing the lives we've touched." The screen flickered with polished images, then shifted to security footage. Hensley's voice boomed, "No premium insurance? Send them elsewhere." The room froze. Claudia's laughter followed, joking about bonuses. Hensley lunged forward. "Stop that!" He barked, but the video rolled on. Spreadsheets, emails. Then Grayson's voice. "On November 3rd, I nearly died. Dr. Sarah Coleman's courage saved me." Hensley shouted, "This is slander," as federal agents stormed in. "Victor Hensley, you're under arrest," an agent announced. Cameras flashed as he was cuffed. He spotted Sarah, snarling, "You did this." Sarah's voice was calm. "No, you did." As Hensley was led away, Harper asked, "You okay?" Sarah nodded. "I'm ready for what's next." 6 months later, the former Crestview stood transformed, its marble replaced by warm murals. A sign read, "Sarah Coleman Community Health Center." Sarah stepped inside, her white coat bearing care over cost. The lobby buzzed. Children played, elderly patients smiled. Elena Martinez, once fired, now greeted patients warmly. Michael Torres grinned. Patient list hit 1-200. Dr. Amit Sharma reported a $6 million donation. In the auditorium, Sarah spoke at the dedication ceremony. "6 months ago, I was told compassion didn't belong here. Today, we're building a place where every life matters." Applause erupted. Harper handed her a letter, naming the center a national model and an invitation to address Congress. Outside, children laughed in a new playground. Grayson approached. "You saved me," he said. Sarah smiled. "We saved it together." Justice was rebuilding, ensuring dignity for all. Her story was about leading a revolution of compassion, one life at a time. Join us by liking and subscribing. Hit the notification bell for lessons of courage and empathy.